Yeah, taking her to New York City was the best, like, family-oriented vacation I've ever been on in my life because of being older and having a 14-year-old daughter, and to say, come on, honey, we're going back to my hometown.
Yeah.
And I have friends still there from 20, 25 years ago. And so, yeah, saw 2 Broadway shows, fucking Yankee game. It was great.
The bonding, not only just showing her around and having her experience new things in a great city, because who doesn't love New York City?
Yeah.
But the bonding that it creates too, that's pretty awesome.
It's to be able to travel. My mom passed away in February, and now it's much more of a focus for me.
Yeah.
And also, your goal, if you live in Las Vegas, is to get the hell out of here from like Memorial Day through September, to spend as many days as possible out of Las Vegas.
To escape the heat.
Because it's 115 right now.
It's so uncomfortable to be outside. Even if you're in a pool, it's still pretty uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. And it's July 26th right now. And we are in the peak heat. And through September, then it gets better. But it just is what it is. But yeah, the traveling thing has been, like, the thing with Alex, and then to go with Brandy on the cruise was...
God, you need those escapes.
Oh my gosh. It was my first cruise. Have you been on a cruise before?
I have. Out of Long Beach to Ensenada.
Like the booze cruise?
Yeah.
I've heard of those.
It was like a regular...
Like a legit cruise?
Yes.
Was it fun?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So it was 4 days. I would do it again.
They're fun,
I would want to
man.
do it in the Mediterranean, in Europe. I've heard it's amazing out there.
We're going through Barcelona in May. We're doing Barcelona, and it's a 7-night cruise. And we're doing like the south of France. And then we come back and hit a couple islands off of Spain. One's Ibiza.
Are you going on a cruise or just traveling? Cruise,
Virgin
that's
Cruise,
awesome.
Man. Virgin Cruise Lines is the best.
You'll have to tell me about that experience.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. Man, I have been talking about
Do it. Just
going
book
to
it.
Europe.
Just book it. Let me tell you something. They have the specials they run, and you get like all this extra credit when on the ship. And it all adds up. That was great. And Virgin at 18 and up, no kids, which is the best ever.
Got it.
Ever.
Copy.
Love my kids, but anybody else's, I'm like, And to travel, and most parents don't parent their kids well. So the kids are running around, or their phones are on speaker, and they're watching, YouTube videos on a tablet, and it's on, 11 on the volume.
Falling over, or you feel more restricted to not say a bad word or certain things that are inappropriate for children.
Virgin Cruise Lines, it's like they have bars, and we made great friends there, and it was amazing.
The great thing is that COVID's a thing from the past, and it doesn't affect traveling internationally anymore. So that's awesome. When are you doing that?
Thank you. May? We go, like the second week in May. And we're going to go to Barcelona a couple days early and go see Barcelona, and then take off from there.
Traveling, because always having a place to go, it's amazing, because you have something to look forward to too.
It is. This whole year has been like, and I leave for upstate New York tomorrow. And gone, and then back, and then Inman conferences here. Then I go to Beverly Hills for the day to film, doing an episode of this.
Yeah.
At a $12 million luxury listing for, I have friends that are with Christie's in Beverly Hills.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Busy man.
Busy man.
Talking to some important people
Rolling
too.
Stone gathers no moss, my dear.
That's awesome.
That's all and it's been just creating an environment of, I have my friends come on, and it's like, we'll talk some real estate, a little bit, but really, who the hell wants to talk about real estate? It's boring as shit. But if they know that here's Kat Alvarez, she's with Fairway, she's one of the best lenders in town, she's also a personal friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. And then we have that talk, but then it's also like, wait a minute, I see you've got a nice ring on your finger. What's gone on lately? Everything else, it's like, that's what people want to know.
Absolutely. They want to see that you're a regular human being on the other side of the phone or the camera, right?
Yeah. Well,
being able to show your through emotions or, a genuine side of you, I think that goes a long way.
I mean, how long have you been a lender?
I became a lender I've been involved in finance since 2009. I graduated with a finance degree from the University of Akron in Ohio. And
I could tell from your accent, it's Ohio.
Yeah, it's Ohio.
Good. Yeah.
Then for a few years, I was in hospitality, okay? But then I became a lender. So I have a strong background in finance, customer service. And 8 years ago is when I made the move to mortgage lending.
And a lot like realtors, you can swing a dead cat in this town and you're going to hit a lender that you know, right?
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff that you're offering, and tell me if I'm wrong, but like the stuff you're offering is pretty similar to everybody else, or no? Like, do you have stuff that like other people don't have? Or is it pretty much the same?
Great question.
Because you're regulated.
We're regulated. And if we have an FHA loan, so does every lender in town, right? So we all have a variety of programs. We all have interest rates. We all can close a loan, or most of us, or some of us can, right? But what makes you different, or what makes me different? I think a big part of it is what we're talking about, just finding out who I am or who you are as a person. I say something that makes me stand out is that I really do care. I care because I really like what I do. So most people in my industry are maybe doing this for a period of time, or they stumble into this job, or it's just a job for them. But for me, it's a career because I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I find a lot of satisfaction. It's very gratifying to help people achieve homeownership. The fact that I can help impact people positively every day brings a lot of joy to me.
I was going to ask you, what is if you could pick one thing that is the funnest part of your career, what is it? Like, what's that one moment that happens?
When you're part of helping someone become a homeowner, and the joy that they have, and when I'm able to be part of the signing or the closing, or even taking them through, the process, it's amazing. They're so grateful. People are usually very happy. Something to be really proud of. And I understand that because buying a home is probably one of the biggest investments that you'll make. It's one of the biggest purchases that most people will make. So someone may buy a home one time in their lives, maybe a few times, but it's a big purchase. And I take that seriously. But that feeling or that emotion that comes through, and it's something that I can, put words on it.
For me, it's first-time home buyers. And I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. And when you do that and they get their keys, or you're in the signing room with them and all of a sudden they're a homeowner for the first time, like the look on their faces.
Yes.
It's like the first time you go to Disney World, or Disneyland, and you're a kid, you never forget that, or something cool like that. It's like one of those benchmark moments of your life. And that's what you not only participate in, but it wouldn't have happened without you.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And in a sense, you can look at it as creating relationships, because every person that I help with getting into a home are grateful. They're happy. You help them. And I still stay in contact with most of my database, right? So the next time that they'll buy a home, they'll think of me, or they want to refer someone. Kat is your girl because she'll get you to the finish line. And that's what I mean by you stand out, or it makes me different from other people, from other lenders in town, because I care. I care about that client. I care about getting him to the finish line. I care about giving him a great experience. I care about my agents. You have to have each other's back, right? I really do care. And some people, there's a saying that I often talk about with clients or realtors, and I live by it. I don't know if you've ever heard, some people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think it really applies in our business.
I'm still surprised at the amount of, whether it's people in title and escrow or lenders or in real estate, that don't care. They just don't care.
It's true.
They do the bare minimum to get the bare minimum paycheck, to live a bare minimum life. And I think with what's coming now, what you're experiencing now, and what's coming down the road, I think pain is coming, and it's mitigating that pain.
Yes.
It's like when you have kids, and I've always said, I never lie to my kids. And if they get hurt, and if something happens, and if I have to put something on, or I got to do something to dress the wound, and if any of my kids say, "Dad, is this going to hurt?" Yep, it's going to hurt for a little bit, but I'm right here. And I tell all my kids, I'm like, hold on to my finger, grab my finger as hard as you can, and I'll take all the pain away as best I can. I'll absorb that pain for you. And that's what you do in your job as well. It is, in my opinion, the biggest, most stressful financial decision of someone's life is to buy a home.
Oh, yeah. And it's emotional.
Oh.
So sometimes I have to wear the hat of shrink or coach, finance coach, personal coach.
You're a motivational speaker. You are a relationship expert. You are a financial wizard, right?
Talking off the edge. Sometimes I have to crack jokes. They may not be the best, but they laugh.
That's all that matters, honey. That's all that matters. The thing is, I've always found, as long as I think I'm funny, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. Like, if I can make myself laugh, that's great. That's all you've got to do. It comes down to being empathetic with the people that you want to help.
Absolutely.
And that, like I said, like with stuff that's happening now, and we're end of July 2024, and this raised rates another 25 bips, I think, is what Powell raised them.
Yes.
And now, but they're saying this should be it for a while. I've heard that before. That doesn't matter to me. It's the strength of the systems that you have in place.
Correct.
And also the strength of your relationships.
Correct.
Because your systems will strengthen and foster those relationships even better. And the systems don't have to be like a CRM, doesn't have to be an Excel spreadsheet. Your systems could be, I know that I need to talk to 5 people today that I haven't talked to in a while. Yes. Who am I going to call? And then you look and see.
Well, and that also includes, while we all slow down, because we all did, starting last year when rates started going up, what were you doing during those slow times? And the people that have exited the industry and that are going to continue to exit the industry, they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, or they weren't taking the steps. Maybe because they didn't care, they didn't know better, they didn't reach out to someone. I, for example, started working on my business. I started implementing certain things so that when we're busy again, it would just be on autopilot. I've taken 2 different training classes, one through Fairway, like a coaching that lasted almost 3 months, and personal coaching as well. And it's just helped.
Good for you.
I've attended 2 different conferences, and it strengthens that. It's good for personal growth, but it's also good for my business.
Did you learn stuff at the conferences?
Absolutely.
Did you?
And I
Good for you. You're the
came
first,
back
by the way.
home. I came back home even more motivated.
Good for you.
Super driven, yes.
That is something that I'm seeing a tipping point now with conferences that, like, I just went to one a couple of weeks ago. I learned nothing. I left at lunch because I'm like, my time is more valuable. There's other stuff I can do. But if you can go to one where you're inspired.
Yes.
If it could just be one person says one thing and you spend all that money to be there, but you know what? You walk out of there and you're on cloud 9, mazel tov.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And there was one in particular that I met someone a few weeks ago, someone in the industry as well. He's actually a lender in Arizona. And he had an extra ticket and he offered it so it wouldn't go to waste. And it goes to show too the impact of being a good person or the relationships, right? Even though he's a lender, we're not competing with one another. And he offered it to me knowing that I'm a lender, and I went, and I'm so grateful to him. Yeah. So now we've, established a relationship, and I think he's a great person.
How much of you getting that free ticket was you were a peer of his in another market, so it wasn't a threat to him, and so he's like, take the ticket. And how much was pretty privilege?
Now, he offered it to a group of people.
Okay,
and fine. I just happened.
Was everyone in the group attractive?
They were all lenders, actually.
That means half of them were attractive. Maybe. 40%. Guys and girls.
But I came forward, introduced myself, and hey, I'm really interested in that ticket. And that's how we connected.
I never knew what pretty privilege was until I started dating my girlfriend, Brandy, who is, she's a 10. She's stunningly attractive. And I never knew that attractive women get stuff for free. I just never thought of that.
You mean drinks at the bar or at a casino?
Everything. Sure. I mean everything. Meals, drinks, trips, like whatever.
I mean, I don't get escrow fees for free.
Well, no, I don't mean that, honey bunny.
So not everything.
Okay, not everything. But I never knew that. I mean, here I was like, what the shit? And the more women I talk to, it's like, it's a thing.
But it usually comes with a cost. What is the cost? It might not be monetary, but it might be something else.
Might be something else that's insinuated.
Yes, which is why it's best when a pretty face also has the money or, the personality to be able to...
When a pretty face has, to me, it's always, if a pretty face, male or female, has something between their ears and they're funny and or articulate and or really smart and or just a good person, then it's like, okay, cool. And I've been blessed with my made friends that have clients that are ridiculously attractive people, but also such good people and good-hearted people.
That's what's important. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
good person.
The whole
educated, intelligent.
You can have a conversation with them, and it's more than just staring at them. It's like, no, I want to hear what you're talking about. You actually make me laugh. You make me smarter. You entertain me. I'm a better person for spending time with you.
I love that. Thank you. Yes. And that's, truly when I believe in God. I'm a religious person. And when I pray for the strength or for the wisdom to become a better version of myself every day. So a better daughter, better sister, better fiance, better professional, better friend. I'm not competing with anybody else except myself.
It's working.
I want to be a better person
and
every day.
It's working. Because you're a very happy person. You're a very happy, optimistic person.
I am.
You are,
yes.
honey. You're good. And okay, I want to bring this up.
Okay.
Because I spent about a day and a half in South Beach. And have you been there before?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So much culture there.
Dude, what is going on with every person there in the service industry, men or women, are a 9 or a 10? Every one of them. My girlfriend and I are like, holy shit, look at they're all beautiful. All Central and South America, all of them.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous with a capital Gorge. Oh my God, Kat. And we had all nice and fun and all kids. They're all kids. I mean, I'm fucking 53, so they're all kids. But this one girl was our cocktail server at our hotel in the lounge. Stunning. 28 years old from I want to like El Salvador or something. Crazy. But I'm like, what is getting put in the water in these countries? The curves, everything was on point, all of them. And at one place, I wanted to ask our server, bring out one of the dish kids. I want to see are the dish kids are probably also 9s, 9.5s. They have to be. The people in the kitchen as well. I couldn't get over just that. I never knew it until I was on the cruise and in South Beach. I'm in a bubble here in Vegas. I'm in a bubble because to see all these people and the culture of South Beach was phenomenal.
It's unbelievable.
Everyone's nice.
So nice. Did you have to speak Spanish to get around?
Poquito. Muy poquito.
Now there's translator
please,
apps.
You're talking on your freaking phone, dude. Oh yeah. No, I was lucky enough that there are some Uber drivers that don't speak English. Fine. You're just pointing to stuff or whatever, laugh, and
Yes.
They have broken English. You laugh. I have no idea what the hell they said, but I'm still laughing out of respect to them.
Absolutely.
It was fine.
It's such a great time. I was just there in April.
I'm I thought Vegas had gorgeous people. We don't hold a candle to South Beach. South Beach, we're the slow cousin. We're like the Fredo Corleone of good-looking people. It's just
they all go there.
I was blown away.
And maybe it's because it's more of an attractive city for other cultures to come there, exotic cultures.
It's all Central and South America. Russians are there. Canadians are there because I was asking people about real estate and what's going on. And they're going vertical all along the shore, man. They keep building.
Oh,
they
yes.
just keep building condos, and it's $5 million for a studio. It's bananas, but they just keep building, and a lot of the people that have been there for a while, I'm getting out. It's priced itself out. I can't do it anymore. It's too much.
They can't afford it.
They can't
too
afford
much
it.
going on.
Yeah, and also too much going on. It's just become it's like a little mini Vegas there.
Yeah,
where it's always the clubs. A lot of the same restaurants.
Except that they have the ocean right there.
They've got
and it's beautiful.
Fucking ocean.
They
which
also
is
have the hurricanes.
And they have hurricanes.
And it's very expensive.
And torrential downpours.
Even the home insurance.
It's got to be bananas there because of the hurricanes.
It's $500 a month compared to what could be maybe 60, 70 here.
Yeah, no. And I loved it there. I would go back in a second. Would I live there? Probably not. But I have great friends that live there. That are agents there, and they do very well. I love experiencing other cultures, even within the United States. And we have other just diverse cultures here.
Yes.
And my girlfriend's from northern Georgia, Appalachia, Winder, Georgia, near south of Athens. So she's out, her hometown's out in the sticks.
She has
and she's
southern
country.
accent
Oh,
too?
she does. Oh, I love her southern accent. But she cooks, and she's a caregiver. She's an RN. She's a nurse. And so she's a very tender person. But it's these southern values I see in her that I didn't grow up. I'm from New York. Go fuck yourself is what is my love language.
Yeah.
But to see people like her, or you go to Miami and you go to South Beach, you go on a cruise. I've been telling everybody, I don't care if you have to beg, borrow, or steal. Go on a decent vacation every year.
Oh, absolutely.
And get the hell out of here.
Because there's so much that you can learn. You can get yourself culture.
Oh.
And I would understand that. Of course, that I was born in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in Colombia. Our parents moved us to Akron, Ohio. That's where I grew up.
Where all the Colombians moved to.
Yeah, I was the only Hispanic in my graduating class in high school. So
that's like all the Escobar cartel was just like, all right, we're done. We're all going to move to, where do we go? And they spun a globe and they hit it, and it hit Akron, Ohio.
Oh, my stepdad was an engineer, so he was transferred to the Goodyear plant back in Akron, Ohio.
Right
back in the day. This was 24 years ago.
Right on.
Yeah. So, but going from Colombia to Akron, Ohio, and then to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived there for 2 years after college. Then to Vegas. This is back in 2011. And then to Scottsdale, Arizona, and then back to Vegas. It's been amazing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. For all the people that I've met, the cultures, even if it's within the United States, every state is a little bit different.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know it. Like, went to Manhattan with my daughter. That's an amazing experience. But it didn't hit me until South Beach and to go on the ship. Because on the ship, it's people from all over the world. All over the world are on the freaking ship.
Yeah.
And it's, younger people. There were packs of gays. It was awesome. It was like these giant, big, burly, like big men.
Yeah.
A pack of like 8 of them. Gaying it up. I love them. They were hysterical and such good guys. There were, we did like a mud bath thing where you're in like this steam room at their spa and you're putting like mud on yourself. And I maybe had a gummy. And I have a hose. I'm hosing myself off. And Brandy's like, honey, stop. I'm like, why? I was getting the guy next to me wet. And he was with his partner, but he was English guy, comb over, super cool. We hit it off. And it's just like the cultural, I'm not used to seeing a lot of that stuff in Las Vegas for some reason.
Even though there's so many people that come here from all over the United States.
People come all over the world here, honey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the shit? Like, I'm not experiencing that type of a culturally diverse melting pot in Vegas, but then I go on a cruise and met amazingly wonderful human beings.
Yeah.
Just so nice and funny. And it gives me faith in humanity that most people are nice.
Yes.
If we watch the news, which I don't anymore, I'm all podcasts and I get my news from, Bloomberg on financial stuff. But people are mostly nice. I think the news overblows the negative parts a lot and sensationalism and social media. But people in general are good and they're good-hearted and they want to help. Regardless of a language barrier, I saw people that didn't even speak the same language helping each other out. Like, it was so cool to watch that people are hospitable and nice.
Plus, the law of karma kicks in too, right?
It's true.
Like, if you do good, you'll receive good in
It's
return
true.
as well.
And you just have zero expectations of anything coming back to you.
Yes.
And that's what in your job, it's how many, you have to take applications, apps, right?
Yes.
That's your thing.
Yes.
Because that's like top of the funnel.
It's a numbers game.
Right?
Yep.
So you're doing that. How many apps do you have to take for it to convert into a client that's going to be a fully funded deal for you?
Those numbers change, throughout the times, throughout the years, throughout the months. And it's a lot harder to qualify right now. A lot harder because of the higher interest rates, higher payments. Some people may qualify and not move forward because that payment's too much.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you an example. Even in just Las Vegas, or I work also in Arizona, very similar markets. But right before the pandemic, average home price was between $200, $250. Interest rates were in the 3s, 4, 5s for a period of time, right? Payments were maybe between $1,200, $1,500. But just a few years later, we're talking average home sales prices, $450 in Las Vegas. Same in Arizona. Rates are in the 6s, 7s, 8s.
Yeah.
Those payments, so the same home, they have to expect for a $400,000 home, somewhere around maybe $2,800 to $3,000 payment. This is with the minimum down payment. So putting that into perspective, a lot of clients can't afford that or don't want to, or, especially if they're renting right now, the gap between renting and owning is wide. And I think that's happened a lot lately.
It's scary.
And it's scary. So education, it's key in this process because a lot of clients may say no at first, but eventually either their lease is up, their landlord is selling the property and they have to get out, or they are going to have a family and they want to have babies and they know that they want to or need to own a property. So reality sets in. Values aren't coming down. Rates may come down a little bit, but the payments are what they are.
Yeah.
So if you stay in touch with them and if you have educated them in the process, right? We are in the type of industry that education is key. Mm-hmm. And with any of my clients, I make sure to educate them, show them the tools so that they can make an educated decision. So even if it's not a yes right away, it can be a yes 6 months later or a year later.
If you long play your relationships, you have an evergreen position at what you do. You'll always make money, at least enough to eat, and to pay the bills. And sometimes, guess what? That's okay.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's okay. We all don't have to, live a giant lifestyle, nor should we right now anyways. I don't think. I think right now cash is king. I'm telling anybody that's looking to, I'm like, hoard your money, hoard your cash, put it away, put it in a mattress, do something, put it in a savings account and forget about it.
Yes.
Because right now it's when the market literally doubles in terms of home values and rates double or even triple, something's got to give. And you had a great point where there's still life events that happen. People still get married. People still die. People still get divorces. People still have babies. People still get fired from jobs. People still get hired from two jobs. And they have to relocate to and from.
Correct.
Right? That's always going to happen, regardless of interest rates at 10% and home values, in the kabillions. Doesn't matter. And you're still going to need a place to live. Right?
Correct.
And so I think that you're brilliant in terms of you're so good at what you do. You care, but you're consistently keeping in touch with these folks and keep them educated with what's going on. And your content isn't boring.
Adapting too. See, that's something that I've had to grow to learn that I'm learning. I guess nobody really is comfortable with listening to their own voice at first. I know you know that I have a slight accent, and I think I heard it more than anybody ever could, right?
Everyone from Akron sounds like you. What are you talking about? How dare you, Kat?
But I finally had to leave that fear behind a little bit because I have to incorporate, video into messages that I send to clients because they're more likely to watch that short clip than they are to go read the email that I just send them on instructions.
And don't even bother with voicemail anymore. Voicemails. No. I barely check mine. Mine will have like a text thing on it, so I could read the voicemail and see like who it is and what. Then I'll call back. But usually, no.
Yeah.
No. So it's a whole new world now that I've been doing video forever.
Yeah.
And I actually, what's really funny is that with my mom passing away, she had a bunch of like VHS tapes and Super 8 movies. So I've had them all in the process. Some of them I've gotten back being digitized.
Oh, that's awesome.
iMemories.com. And I'm not getting paid for this. You guys are freaking awesome. And iMemories.com. And it's not cheap, but the stuff I'm getting back, like my college graduation, St. John Fisher College in Rochester, New York, 1992. And the graduation party afterwards. We had a dinner at a country club. And it's just, I'm dying laughing looking at this stuff. And one of them I've got to look at, I saw it, is I used to have Fargo properties because I was a broker and I did resi-commercial deals in Canandaigua, New York. I shot commercials and it looks like it's a VHS of my commercials.
That is so funny.
Dude,
that's awesome.
I'm dying.
You got to bring those back and show some clips for sure.
I'm going to be editing all those in CapCut and pushing those out to go, look at assholes. Here's Fargo as a realtor back in like 1997. And here's the commercials I was doing online. And it was working on TV.
Yeah.
I got business from it, which was hysterical. So I've been doing video forever.
Wow.
Like back when I had hair. I was doing video.
I can't wait to see this.
Oh, you'll die.
That's going to be fun.
You'll die. Because I'm like, oh my God. But it's being uncomfortable is okay. Because think of, let's pick a random number. Let's say that there's 1,000 LOs, loan officers in Las Vegas. How many of them are doing video, right? And how many of them are doing video consistently? Like, that's why I started doing all this because I love this.
Yes.
I'll do this all the time. I'll talk to y'all. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm in title and escrow. There's a lot of escrow title reps around, a lot of people in escrow and title nationwide, but no one's putting stuff out every day. Nobody.
And in fact, that's how you and I connected.
That's exactly how we connected.
And that's how you connect with hundreds, but that's how you and I connected.
Yeah.
That consistency of the video every single day.
Yeah.
You were showing up in my algorithms and you ended up connecting.
Next thing you know, you and I are DMing each other like 11 o'clock at night on Instagram. We're DMing, which is hysterical, right?
About sneakers.
About sneakers. It all started because of sneakers.
Yes, because I bought a pair of Air Jordans. They were black and yellow.
Badass.
And I posted them online and you DM'd me about it. And then we started going back and forth.
And I started buying stuff there. And I mean, and it was Next Drop LV. Is that one kid?
Yes.
Who was phenomenal. If ever you need sneakers, you're in Las Vegas, Next Drop LV is where you want on Instagram. He's amazing.
Adam, he's amazing.
Adam.
Yes.
And it's like you're doing a drug deal, no offense, but it's like you're talking to somebody from the Cali cartel and you meet at, a parking lot somewhere. Like we met at IKEA.
Yes.
Give him cash, I get the box, and there's my pandas.
Here you go. Amazing.
Done.
Yes.
And then you did the sweetest thing ever. My mom passes away, and you and Adam both gave me the sneakers. And I'm like, really? Really? And that was like the kindest thing ever. And that was when we were just becoming friends. And it really showed me who you are as a person. Because I'm not looking to buy a house anytime soon. I'm renting. But guess what? When I do buy a house, guess what I'm going to use for my mortgage? It's Kat Alvarez. I'm using you because you did that. And I tell everybody that story. Everybody that'll listen, because you took the time, invested maybe a couple $100, but it's more about you took your time to go, he's sad, his mom passed away, I want to do something nice for him.
Yes, to draw a smile. And
it did.
That meant a lot.
It did. It's things like that. When my mom passed away, there were people that I thought would reach out. Like if you reach out, great. If you don't, that's fine. But there's people that I thought would do more than just something on Facebook to go, oh, I'm so sorry. Like people I've known for years.
Yeah.
I thought would call, even text. And I'm like, okay, and that's fine. But the thing is, it goes in the fucking memory bank. And I remember that because that's the value of our friendship.
Through good times and bad times,
you
recognize the people that are there for you and have your back or not.
That's it. And it is not, it's like when, 2 years ago, when money was falling from the sky here, if you're doing real estate here, you could stand in front of a home with a monkey suit and a contract, and someone's going to drive by and sign it, and off you go and collect your commission and move on. But now that things are more challenging, now you see who your friends are.
Absolutely.
And now you see how what people are really made of is what you're seeing now, especially in what we do in the real estate sector. Because if somebody was a minor league scumbag, but really a good person, but they tend to dabble a little bit, and now they're full-blown dark side, like Darth Vader, Sith Lord, evil empire person. That's what's happening now. Or to the contrary, folks that are nice and kind and generous with their time, double down on that and are doing even more of that. And you see them, whether it's in a one-on-one thing to give a friend a pair of sneakers, or to go donate time at an open door mission, or do something, whatever it is, or to even spend more time with friends.
Yes.
And hang out in your pool and have drinks, and for friends' birthdays and all that stuff that you do. And you do such a good job, honey, of celebrating that and sharing that with me as your audience. You do a great job of that. And that's why I told you in the beginning, get your ass on video.
Yeah.
Because you have a great story to tell, with yourself, your family, and now it's the luckiest man in the world is, because now you're engaged, and to see that whole thing transpire. And I sit back and go, oh, that's so cool.
Thank you. And sometimes you just never know who you may be inspiring or who may relate to your story as well. Because also through, you losing your mom, I'm very close to my mom. And mom, my dad passed when I was very young. So I've always been close to mom. And, you're such a good son. And you were so good to her. And
Thank you.
Even that is what induced me to go and get a pair of sneakers to, send that. And Adam was so kind to say, I'll go half and half with you.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
But it just a token of, what we were talking about earlier, not expecting, if you're a genuine person, kind, you're not really expecting anything in return, because I wasn't. It's just, I hope that it at least brings a smile to his day.
Yeah.
He's going through a rough time. I can't imagine. Death is certain. I know that. And I know one day I'll have to, face that too with my family, my loved ones, and myself too. But yeah, it's I know it's not easy.
All you can do in what I've gone through in the past 6 months, Kat, is you want to celebrate every happy moment that you have, whether it's going on right now or something that happened earlier in the day, and just you reflect back on that and go, oh, that was cool. And whatever brings joy to your soul, you focus on that.
Do a little more of that every day. Life is short, so you have
double
to.
down on that. And life is short because it's inevitable. We all going to die. We're all going to die. It's going to happen. Our loved ones are going to leave us. Are we going to see them again? Depends on what you're, and what camp you're in on that one. I say yes. I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a universe guy. I'm not a God guy, but I think that there's a board of directors somewhere, and it's a bunch of people or whatever they are, and they're super duper smart, way smarter than we are, that we can't even fathom until we're dead. That are kind of organizing everything that's going on in the universes and all that crap. And I think that the more you can prepare yourself for that, it's not goodbye, but until we meet again. I know I'll see my mom again. I know that. I feel that as deep as possible. Is that heaven? Is that, the wind buffet? I don't know. But it's going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll see her again. And I know that. But I'm trying to prepare anyone that will listen from what I went through, which was not good. And her last few months, not great. With dementia and everything else, and the logistics of me being here and going to Tampa almost every other weekend for 6 months and getting her out here. And it was worth it. Every bit of it was worth it because her last moments on this earth, I was there. And her grandkids saw her, my ex, they were together for a while, but then that night when she passed away, it was just her and I. And it was okay. And we told each other we loved each other. And she went to sleep. What more do you want? In terms of temporary closure.
Plus, you don't have any regrets.
None.
Later on.
I have zero.
I could have been a better son. I could have spent more time. I could have done this and that, right? I can't imagine dealing with that.
And the thing is, unfortunately, you will. You have to.
Yeah.
And you're a good person. You're an amazing daughter that you will when that time comes and you're called upon. But guess what? As soon as you start letting in any way, shape, or form, I find out that you're going through that, I'll be the first one to call you or be at your door to say, what can I do? Even if it's just a hug.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. But that's what we do.
Yes.
And to me, that's the human condition. That's what we should be doing anyways. I'm doing it for two reasons. One, for you, and two, as an example to my kids. So they see, this is how you treat people.
Absolutely,
when
yes.
When they saw how I, took care of Grandma Donna, they know, heaven forbid, because I told my oldest, Alex, she'll be 14 tomorrow. And I said, honey, if I get half as bad as Grandma Donna, give me a shuffleboard stick, stick me out in Valley of Fire, and tell me that we're in Boca, and just leave me. It's okay. Leave me like a little bit of water, and I'll be fine.
She would never.
She goes, I would never do that. And she's so sweet. She's Dad.
She would never.
She was, Dad, I won't do that. I go, I know, honey, I'm kidding. But she's very literal. And she loves her dad. So it's just, I'm like, I know, honey. But I'm like, don't, if I ever get that way, nip it in the bud immediately. Whatever you got to do, man. Just because it's not the person that you love when dementia sets in, when that happens. And that's the part that I was lucky that she was bad for about 4 months.
Yeah.
But there's people I know that years, between different stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
That that's what happens. But also the biggest plus is that I now have met a woman that I'm head over heels in love with. Like I met Brandy from Bumble, and she's in, near Tampa. Would have never met her if it wasn't from my mom getting sick.
Yeah.
That happened. It's made my life so much more precious now that I really don't care about making money anymore. I don't. I just don't. I know it's going to happen. I know I'll be okay. Yeah. I always pay the bills. Knock on wood. We're all good here. But
gave you a different motivation.
Yeah. Now
right?
I'm more like, I'm 53 and I'm on the back nine of my life. And I know that. And I'm okay with that. But I'm going to have so much more quality time. We're going back to Canandaigua, New York tomorrow. We're there for 9 days. We're going to sprinkle my mom's ashes in Canandaigua Lake.
Wow.
That's her hometown, and she grew up on that lake, and that's her wishes. So I've got a box from Vegas Valley Crematorium, who are awesome, by the way. And we go through and I'm going to do that. And that's probably Friday night. We're going to, my cousin has a boat. We're going to sprinkle her ashes.
When is this going to be?
Friday night, we're going to do it.
This Friday night. Yeah. That's awesome. So that's why you're going there.
Yeah.
That's super
it's
awesome.
That, and then we're like, my dad is there. So we're going to spend time with my dad. My dad's never met Jack. Jack is 7. So he's going to meet his grandson.
For the first time.
For the first time.
Exciting.
He's met Alex a couple times. We got a lot going on. Throwing a big party for my mom at the country club she was a member at for years. So doing a whole thing there. And I'm taking a bunch of these videos I've had downloaded in slides that I've had downloaded, just do on a projector. And it's going to have them play. And then I'm going to have a microphone, have an Irish wake. Come up, say a funny story. I don't want to cry. Don't say anything sad about my mom. Don't do it. But tell a funny story. Oh, by the way, I'll go first. And then I'll pick something. And by then, this will already be out and already happened. It'll probably be when I was 14 years old and I found her little one-hitter of weed, like a little wooden dugout thing. You slide the top up and the thing pops up and you mash it down and get a little hit. And I was smoking weed then anyways. I was 14. And I started smoking her weed. And she found out and got rid of it. Thank you, Donna Fargo.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Mom. I started smoking her weed and she and I remember her saying, "Did you smoke my weed?" I go, "No."
Oh,
but it went from here to here. I smoked a lot of it. But she knew. She knew. And then she next thing you know, it's gone.
And stories like that are going to be a celebration of her life.
Oh my God, yes.
Which is what it should be
about.
Oh
my God, yes. And wherever she is, she's laughing her ass off about it.
Yeah.
She's giggling.
That's awesome.
But that's the thing with you are a very empathetic soul. And that's rare. That's very rare.
Yeah. Mom has a big heart and she was mom and dad growing up. Coming from Colombia, 24 years ago, I think resilience was instilled in me. So was gratitude and the notion of dreaming big, right? Land of opportunity, the American dream. And it's really because in other countries, unfortunately, it doesn't matter how hard you work, how smart you are, how much you study, there's a block. And many times you can't get to a higher position or do certain things, but here you can. Right. And I was lucky or blessed enough to realize that at a young age, which is why, apply myself at school. I was the kid from another country, the only Hispanic at my high school, but it was still great. Looking back on it, all those different instances made me who I am today.
How was it growing up, by the way? Let's go back to Kat. In what grade was it that you're in Akron? When did you start?
I started high school.
So ninth grade? So ninth grade?
Ninth grade.
So little Kat goes in ninth grade.
I didn't speak English either, by the way. I had taken English classes in Colombia because we went to a Catholic private school, but not enough to carry a conversation. And my sister was 5 at the time, and she picked up on it. Just a few weeks later, she was already conversating. It took me maybe a few more months, like 5 months, to be comfortable enough to get my messages across. And it's a lot easier to read and understand than it is to speak it. That's like the last stage of the communication process. But it was interesting, especially when you don't know the culture. When you're a freshman in high school and you don't speak English. You know how I taught myself, actually?
How?
Watching movies and putting the captions on. And it has to be something easy to understand, like the Disney Channel. So the captions would be on, and any word that I didn't understand, I would write it down. And at the end of the movie, I would look up in the English-Spanish dictionary. Oh, and it would make sense as to what they were talking about or yelling about or laughing about, right? And you do that over and over. You're listening, you're reading, you're watching the emotions, and that's completes the process. And then the last step is actually starting to speak it.
So you're 14 years old, right?
Yes.
14-year-old little girl from Colombia. You don't speak a lick of English in whitey white bread town of Akron, Ohio, where there's probably a freaking militia or Klan rally down the road. They're so white there, it's bananas. Listen to John Cougar Mellencamp or whatever they got going on, which is fine. But also all the hormones that are going on and the changes that are going on in a woman's body. And I don't know it personally because I'm a man, but I have a teenage daughter. So I'm a dad of a daughter and going through that now. All that getting layered on. And look at you now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, mom, stepdad were always, watching and wanting the best for us. So I always got involved in school. I was in I got involved in every extracurricular activity possible.
What was your favorite?
I've always enjoyed watching sporting events, so I became a baseball statistician. I ran track. I was a basketball cheerleader.
Of course
So I always wanted to be involved in something. I could never sit still.
Okay, so wait a minute.
And I always studied too, by the way, because I'm obsessed with numbers. I've always been obsessed with numbers. And this all helped, actually, because the whole goal and the whole point, it was always to go to school, and go to college and get an education. And there's not too many people who know about this, actually, but I got accepted into Ohio State. That's where I was going to go to school. They didn't give me any money, though. And the University of Akron gave me a full academic scholarship. So I went there instead.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Screw them. The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University. I still watch them. They're still great.
Of course you do.
But
Buckeyes. Yeah.
But I came out of school free.
All right, now my brain's going over the place. Your stepfather, was he from Colombia?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got your mom and your stepfather, Colombians. You come with your sister, Colombians. Who was the first boy that you dated?
Oh, boy. It was...
What grade was it?
I was a senior in high school.
What was his name? Sean? Tom? Patrick?
I think it was James.
James? What's like the whitest name you can come up with? It's
this
James.
This is like down memory lane 20-some years ago.
James. And what, did James play a sport?
No, he was actually out of high school already. He did. I think he played sports.
So you were a senior in high school? So you were 17, 18-ish?
I was 18 already.
How old was James?
He was a few years older than me, like 3.
Okay, that's good. That's not like sexy good, but it's good. If it was like, you said like 27, 20, that's like sexy good.
Then and I was like, 18 too, because otherwise that would have been a big no.
What did your mom and stepfather feel about James being as white as a slice of Wonder Bread, bleached, bread?
Oh.
With their pretty little Latina daughter.
Jeff, I wasn't even allowed to go out to the football games or on a Friday night because mom wanted me back by 9 p.m. 9 p.m., the game's still going on. I was in a very strict household. So the only reason they were even okay with me dating at the time is because they knew his family, his mom and dad, also through church.
Perfect. And that's actually really good.
And they knew him and they knew... the family. So it was a lot easier to say, okay, you can take my daughter out to dinner.
Okay to that gringo James. Because it's just all that was going through my head when you're like, oh my God, you're the only Latino period. Take sex out of it. You're the only person of Latino heritage at this school.
In Akron, Ohio,
In Akron, Ohio. Like, what do you do if you want a good freaking, horchata? You're going to make it.
You got to go to Cleveland.
You're going to go to Cleveland.
To find some Hispanic places, yes. And life out there is very different. I still have friends there that I love dearly. And it's a great place to go back in the fall and the spring or to visit
What's
my
James
friends.
doing now? Do you know?
We haven't talked in too many years.
James is married to a girl named... Nancy, and they have 3 kids, and they have a Labradoodle named Charlie.
Probably.
Guaranteed.
Ohio,
and they live in Chagrin Falls, Ohio.
The winters are very cold. There's
shitty.
So much snow.
Upstate New York, baby, for 30 years. I know.
It's a great place to raise a family, right? People are very nice.
Amazing place as a family.
Same with Pittsburgh, too. Like you're walking down the street and someone says, hi, how are you? Hey, how are you? Yeah. Normal, right? Yeah. Good neighbors. Slower living.
Yeah.
But I had to get out of there.
Well, that's what my home, I was born in Manhattan, but then most of from first grade through, I was in college in Rochester, but first grade through high school, Canandaigua, New York, which the city is like 16, 17,000 people. With the town, that's like 30,000 people total. But everyone knew everybody. And super small town. Like when I go back tomorrow night, Friday morning, I have friends that own restaurants, an Italian deli. Like it's the best. It's the best. And on a natural, beautiful, clear 17-mile long lake, Kat.
That's beautiful.
Wonderful. When the leaves turn, like it looks like the hills are on fire. The fall foliage in the Western Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
There's no better place on earth. However, boldface, italicized, underlined. However, when you get into October, November, December, January, February, March, April, even into May. No way. You can't pay me enough
so cold
to live there. I can't do it. And I am tender, like a veal fed, like a calf getting slaughtered to be veal. Like that's how tender I am now. Because I go back there and like even at night sometimes, we'll go back next week. If it gets like in the 60s at night, I'm cold. I'm cold.
It's one of the main reasons I moved out of there. The weather that we have out here, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Might be a little hot, yes, but I take that any day over the snow. And also the sun, too. There was a stat that I read a long time ago when I lived in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a really fun city, by the way. And they have the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I love watching. Very sports town, blue-collar town, right? Great values. There's a street miles long, and there's over 100 bars on it. All kinds of nightclubs, sports bars. It's a really fun city. It has a lot to offer. But the weather, so the stat that I was talking about, out of the 365 days out of the year, only 60 are sunny and nice. The others are cold, snowy, rainy, cloudy, shitty.
I'm out. I'm out. Love y'all.
I need the sun. And I've actually heard that. That's true. Some people are wired to be in a warm weather place, like where it's sunny, where you need the sun in order to be happy. Mm-hmm. That's me.
I will never live anywhere that is snowy. Like full time? No. And I don't care for $1 billion. I won't do it.
It's pretty during Christmas time, maybe to watch the snow, but that's about it.
Like my ex is from Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm. And so to go up there, like Park City, beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
In the wintertime, gorgeous. But also is good? You hop on the fucking 15 and keep driving, and you get past Cedar City, and then you start getting like to, Hurricane, and all of a sudden things get green, and you hit St. George. You're like, oh, okay, this is nice.
My sister and her husband and the kids lived in St. George for a little while. They lived in Provo. Uh-huh. Utah's a beautiful state.
Provo's up north. Provo's the home of BYU.
Yes, and definitely cold.
I went to Provo with my friend Carson McKim back when I was Mormon. So this was going back years. And we went, I forget what it was for, but he was like, let's go to the Provo Mall. We went to the Provo Mall. It looked like they were doing training for Hitler Youth. Because every single kid that was there, every boy was like 6 feet tall, blonde, blue eyes, and every girl was like 5'9", blonde, blue eyes, or even the brunettes, and all strikingly attractive.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. It was like some like master race getting built. It's hysterical.
Mormon religion and everywhere across the United States, they want to send their kids to BYU.
That's it.
Provo or Idaho, right? And they don't do anything harmful to the body like alcohol or smoking.
Guess what?
They focus there.
Guess what? All right, let's get into it. Because there's stuff I know from I was an endowed member of the church. I went through the temple. I wore undergarments for years, did the whole thing. Mormons are very good at rationalizing things. They go, oh, wait, we can do this or do this. For a long time, the kids from BYU were coming down here to Vegas, getting married so they could have sex, then getting the marriage annulled and going back up to Provo. That's a true story. Fucking Google it.
Oh,
Happened.
Wow.
Or there's a thing called bagpiping, where the guy puts his thing and the girl's like playing a bagpipe. He puts his thing here and goes like this.
Oh.
And for some reason that's satisfying. Or there's a thing called soaking, where the guy gets on top of the girl and just has
dry humps?
No. It goes in, but he doesn't move it, or someone else is there and moves him.
Oh, bizarre.
Weird as shit. Just have sex. You're in college. Just freaking do it. Wear protection, but just have sex. Come on. And that is not like one. I've heard that hundreds of times.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like there's a code of conduct there that's very strict. Yeah. Yes. But there are ways that they look to get around it. Like you can't have sex, but you can have, but they're like, whoa, what about penetration? And it's like this whole thing, or not vaginally, but somewhere else. And I have hundreds of stories of people I talked to that were there and were like, oh, no, yeah, that happened. That happened.
That technically is sex, so.
That's sex. I'm not a health teacher, but last time I checked, that's part A into, fold B. Yeah, that's called sex.
It's silly even to think about coming down here just to get married, just to
have sex because it's legal, but then get it annulled. Yeah, then they put the kibosh on that. True story. Like bananas. That was a great tangent that we went off on, by the way, on Mormons and sex. Oh my good hell. Those would be great for clips. But I think that just to bring things back, I love from all of this, and thank you, by the way, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I adore you, and you know that, but I adore you. I think you're a magnificent human being, and you're really good at your job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I love how you shared your story about being a 14-year-old girl who doesn't speak English in Akron, Ohio, all by literally on your own, and to watch Disney Channel captions to learn English, and to evolve to get a full ride academic scholarship into college. And now look at you. I mean, it's a testament to America, but it's more a testament to you and who you are and the fire that's inside of that belly of yours. Pretty fucking cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
It's super
cool. There's nothing
cool.
that really you can't accomplish. You just have to want it, right? Want it bad enough. Whatever it may be.
We're going to see with what's going on now with the market, and I love this, more people that won't keep pushing forward.
Correct.
You're going to see more people give up now. And whether it's in, lenders, title and escrow, realtors. We're at 18,000 realtors here in Vegas. We should be at about 8, in my opinion. Even that's a lot, but we should be about 8. So the good part about all this attrition that's going to happen in, say with LOs or really in the real estate business in general, there's a greater likelihood that when somebody is involved in a real estate transaction moving forward, there's a better chance that the people they're working with know what they're doing.
Correct. Because it's going to weed out all the ones that are not in it for the right reasons, that know what they're doing, they have the experience. It's typically everyone that jumped on board for the last 2 years or 3 years when the money was great, but they're not taking the steps in becoming better and going where they need to go in order to make this a career. They're going to be the ones that exit, and the people that are buying homes or selling homes should be utilizing people that are in it for the right reasons. They have the ones that have the experience, the ones that, will have their back. But it's, to your point, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And it's going to be a great thing because now it's all about market share, right? As those people are exiting the business, we can stand out, show our abilities, and, the right people are going to gravitate to you regardless, which is something that I'm big into with relationships. Mm-hmm. Relationships with clients, past clients, but also relationships with real estate agents, and even see like with you.
Yeah. But it's easy because it's like you keep doing it enough, you know who you want to spend time with, and your time becomes so valuable. And as you get older, it becomes even more valuable.
Absolutely, yes.
And then you really pick and choose who you want to spend your time with.
And we are so lucky to be in an industry that we get to pick who we work with. Mm-hmm. As far as, title, escrow officers, realtors, right? And even clients. I know not everybody's going to like me or not everyone's going to do a loan with me, but that's okay because you gravitate through to your niche. And, we are supposed to wear different hats and adapt and become chameleons and try to adapt to the different personalities. But at the end of the day, you end up working with the people that you like, that you respect, et cetera. And I'm big on that. The realtors that I work with, they know I got their backs. And the realtors I work with, I've been working with them for years. Because we have that relationship of I have your back, you got my back, and it's always, the end goal is always to help the client. And there's times that we have to come up with a plan. We have to get strategies going. We have to both talk to the client in different ways or at the same time, but it's a team effort. And if you're doing that with someone that you don't like talking to or that simply there is no relationship there, our jobs are a lot harder, right? But because we get to pick who we work with, our lives become more enjoyable. It's not really a job, but the work that we get to do every day becomes a lot more enjoyable.
It's much more pleasant.
Yes.
What we do. And everyone goes through in the beginning where you got to, tough it out and do the deals with people that you don't want to work with because you got to eat and all that. But then you get through that and to where you start doing okay, just okay even, not killing it, but okay. Then you're breathing rarefied air.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you're with people, you're like, oh, okay, I see Kat's on this deal, or I see that, whoever that I know is on this is great. I see Tony on this. I love Tony. Awesome. He knows his shit. It's going to be an easy transaction. Or if it's not an easy transaction, he'll be the first one or you'll be the first one to call to go, hey, this is going on. Or what do I need to do to get through it? And that's it. Like that's when I talk to people in doing deals and I go, look at, CC me on all this stuff. I'm not going to read it, but CC me. Because then if I do have to go back and look at stuff, I will. And if you have to evoke the nuclear option and go to the bat phone and get a hold of me, or text me, go, hey, we need you to jump in. I'm in. But I'll always come in and go, how can I help? I don't get emotional about it. I've been there a million times, man. And I'm just like, okay, I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral. What can I do to help? At the end of the day, I want to make everyone happy. That's it. I want to get the people in their home. I want to get these people to sell their home. I want to get you paid. I want to get the agents paid. And everyone walks away, rinse, repeat. Let's do it again. And what did we learn from that was challenging to apply to the next time?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Strategies like that work and learning from each transaction, right? So no, that's amazing. And that's something that I actually do with people that I work with, whether they CC me on an offer that they're submitting and maybe the listing agent knows me or we've worked together in the past, or I can chime in to either call them or write something in an email that's going to get their attention to engage in, see the negotiation. All
right, this is what you do to get them to engage, Kat. You send them a picture of little Kat at Akron High. What was the name of your high school?
Manchester High School.
Little Kat at Manchester High School with her little, her little outfit that she's got on, her whole, like your ninth grade picture. And you're like, look, assholes, I barely spoke English here. Okay, and look at me now.
Or I send them a picture of my business card now at the bottom of my email. Works quite well too.
That works very well right now.
It might get your foot in the door or someone to at least open the email, right? But then is the substance what really matters?
So like you touch all the bases because you've got like American dream comes true, engaged to a wonderful guy, pretty privileged, super duper smart, ridiculously smart woman, and also a huge empath. Like, okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's not going to happen, but yeah, it's super cool. Like I cherish our friendship, and I cherish you. You're a good person.
Thank you.
And it's an absolute joy to spend time with you.
Thank you. Feel the same way. Likewise.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes. And thank you for having me here today too.